We completed restoring your Nishijin B Pachinko machine. It was made in 1972 or 1973, and this quick start guide will show you how to set it up and play. The first thing you want to do is make sure the ball drain lever is locked. There's a metal tab here that we're going to push over to the right, and you can see a notch in this metal part here. It needs to engage. Right now it's not, so if we were to pour balls in the machines, they would roll across these two white levers here and pivot down, and then the balls would enter here and go down and exit your machine. So we need to lock these levers by pushing this over, and now they're locked. Also, you have a metal weight here. It kind of helps to, as the balls are going down this track, get them ready for the turn, so just make sure it's flipped this way. While we're here, we'll go ahead and point out this white piece with the metal part here. This lower track has this cover, and if you ever need to get in here and clean it, you can just pinch and lift it out, and the back part here fits in a notch. There is a plastic tab right there on the back, and that fits in a hole in the back, so we just line it up, find out where it goes, push it in there, and then pull back on the tab, drop it down in place. Now, the most common problem with Pachinko machines is your one ball seesaw in the wrong position. That's this white part behind my finger. It has two balls in it, and they act as counterweights, and they pivot. The part pivots up and down. Right now it's down. If you play and you get a jackpot, it won't pay out. Balls will start to back up in your machine, so we need to reset that seesaw, and we'll do that by this loose pin here. If you just push up on it, it resets that arm for you. Now we'll connect the battery. We'll just swing this over and touch it. You'll actually snap it on, and as we did, you saw this light come on up here. That light is controlled by this switch here, and because we don't have any balls in the supply tray, that light comes on to tell you, hey, stop, refill the supply tray. We also have a wall adapter for you that you can plug into the wall, and on the other end of adapter we have this. If you want to run it off of the adapter instead of the battery, basically what you're going to do is you're going to take this and snap it into that other one, snap the two snaps together, and then you can run it off the wall. Just don't snap this to the top of the battery, then the battery will get real hot. Now, your machine has two other switches. The normal one over here, and that switch will cause a light here to flash when you get a jackpot, but it also has another switch over here, which is really neat, because it'll also flash, and it'll cause these lights to flash when you get a jackpot. So this will flash, then this will flash, and we'll see that in a minute. Now, you don't have to have electricity, you don't have to have the lights, you can play the Pachinko machine without it. It works on gravity alone. If you're ever out of balls in the supply tray, and let's say you're not using the battery, this long rod here controls the flag up front, and whenever that flag drops down, that means it's time to refill your machine. Let me show you that. So here through this window you see the silver and blue anchor, and now it's out of the way. When it drops down, it blocks the flow of balls from your play tray into the shooter lane. So even though you have plenty of balls, you won't be able to play until you fill balls to the supply tray and back, pulling that arm out of the way. While we're up front here, we'll go ahead and add some balls to the play tray. Now we'll add them to the supply tray. They'll run across this track, around that turn, around the lower track, and they'll enter in your jackpot assembly, where they'll stay until you get a jackpot. We cleaned up your original ball bucket, which was kind of nice. It goes, and we even drew some lines here so you know where to put the bucket, so it can catch balls coming out of this chute and out of this chute. Play Pachinko, you'll take your index finger, put it up against your finger rest bar here, take your thumb, set it on the top of the flipper, this chrome curved flipper here, and then you're going to pull it all the way down and then slide your thumb off of the flipper. And when you do, the flipper will flip back up and it'll launch a ball around the track there is a bumper here. It'll hit that rebound bumper, bounce off, and then it'll start to ping past the nails going down the play field. The round circle spinners redirect the ball, and the object of the game is to get it to go into any of these pockets, and if you get it to go into any of those pockets, you win. You get a jackpot. And it's the same jackpot. The same thing happens. You get the same number of balls paid out. The balls will drop down. They'll hit a bell, so you hear the bell sound, and then you'll see the lights flash. You'll see a light flash here and here. This is the light that comes on and stays on when you're out of balls. If you don't get it to go in any of those, it'll go all the way down to the bottom, and it'll exit through here into the bucket in the back. Now the first time we pull down, nothing's happening because it's loading a ball in the shooter lane. That's the first time you fill up the machine. Now let's shoot. Okay, we got one to go into this pocket here. I got a pad of balls, and you saw the lights flash. We'll play some more. Okay, we got a couple more jackpots. We got one over here and here. And these tulips were open, and when a ball goes in, they close. And if they're closed and a ball goes in, they'll open. We're going to pop open the door. I'm going to drop a few balls in so we can see what happens. To open this chrome play field door, on the back of the machine there is just a loop right here. And you can just put your finger underneath it. You don't have to put your finger in it. And if you lift up on it, it will pop open that door, and you can swing it open to gain access in here and to be able to open your play tray. And to close it, you just push it back, and there's two latches here, so you're going to want to grab it and squeeze real tight until it locks. First we'll drop one in the top pocket. And as you see, it went all the way down and it opened this tulip. You can gently ride your fingers up to close them, although you'll never need to do that. But you don't want to pry them open with your fingers because then they'll break. We'll drop one over here into this pocket here. It opened these two, so when we drop it here, it'll probably open the others. And here's a little pass-through, the ball pass-through. It'll spin these, just a couple of swings, and it'll open that one up. Okay, we've got a lot of jackpots. The light has come on and staying on, so I know I need to refill the machine. So there's a lot of balls here. To get them out, there is a lever here. We're going to slide it over to the left, and when we do, the balls will flow from the play tray into the receiving tray. Then we can scoop them out into the bucket and then refill the supply tray and back. So I'll slide it over, and if nothing happens, that's probably because the weight of the balls is causing them to jam. Just take your finger, kind of loosen the jam. You may even have to pull down on the flipper while you're pulling this back to get that to work. Now with this tray empty, I'm going to go ahead and show you the shooter assembly on the back. Right at the corner here, there is a metal tab. If you push down on that, it will release this door, and then I can grab it and pull it and swing it open so I can see inside of the machine. On the back of the door is the shooter assembly. That's this part here. It loads the balls into the shooter lane. So there's one right there now. I'll just pick it up with my finger. And the ones that are in there, I've got a couple options. There's a couple tabs here. I can just pinch those tabs, swing it open, they all fall down. Or I could do what's going to happen when you pull on the flipper. Let me zoom in. So when you pull on the flipper, you can see that spring right there. That's what, whenever you let go quickly, that's what launches the ball. Also what's happening is you can see this piece of plastic moving here. That's one of the ball load levers. It moves, when it goes down, it pulls a piece of plastic here down that has a weight on it. And I'll do that with my hand. And as you can see, it loads the balls. It would load them in the shooter lane if the door was closed. So you can do this to get all the balls out. And as I said before, you could also pinch these two tabs here, swing it open, get any debris, carpet fuzz or anything else that accumulates in there. And then to close it, you just pinch that closed. And then there's the tooth that locks in the door latch. And so to close it, we're just going to push down on the latch and push that closed. Now, so we got all the balls out of the front of the machine. Now let's get the balls out of the back of the machine. You want to take the balls out anytime you're not going to use the machine for a long time, or if you're going to transport it, lay it down. You always want to take the balls out, because otherwise the balls will get into places they shouldn't be in the machine if you lay the machine down. So we're going to push down on this lever here that we locked a while ago. And when we do, the balls that are up here will flow down into your bucket. Okay, so any balls up to this point fell down here. Now we still have some in your jackpot assembly. So what we'll do is we have this long rod here. You can just grab it and go up and down with it. And now we've emptied all those balls out. The flipper assembly from the back of the machine. So as I pull down on the flipper from the front, first you can see that metal arm in the back coming back. There's the spring that actually hits the ball. There is on the arm, there's also a metal wire, and that metal wire that you see pivoting right here, it's moving this clear plastic ball load lever. So as it's moving that lever, that's what's engaging another lever on the front that's loading a ball into the shooter lane. You can also see the spring right here. It goes across all the way to the other side, and you can adjust the tension of that spring for more power or less power when you shoot. Let's take a look at that. Here on the other side, you see this metal part with the holes in it. There's a nail there. You could pick that metal off of the holes. The spring is attached to that metal, and you can move it to a different hole to adjust the tension of the spring. Okay, that concludes this quick start guide. We sure hope you enjoy your machine.